Emos, middle schoolers, there's an album for you, but maybe you shouldn't listen to it if I'm being honest. The 29th of March, MGK released an EP, and it was a collaborative album with SoundCloud rapper Trippie Redd. Now, both of these guys are decently well known. MGK is well known for rapping, mostly about Cleveland. Eminem, we know the Eminem beef. That was a big part of, I believe it was 2018. That makes me feel old, even though I'm not even 20. But after that, and I believe he had an album after the Eminem beef that didn't do well, he then began switching to this more rock, like pop punk style with two pretty bad albums with Tickets to My Downfall and The Mainstream Sellout that I don't understand how anyone enjoyed those. And then Trippie Redd, who I've never really gotten into Trippie Redd. I've listened to a couple of songs, but I have the very, just surface level understanding of it. But I also understand his current downfall with just lazier music. His vocals haven't been too good. Maybe it's from all the smoking. Who knows? And both of these guys have a sad boy image. So what better way to show that than to make this collaborative EP that, just put it frankly, is not good. This album is terrible, in my opinion. I did not like it. There are maybe 2 songs on here that I didn't think were terrible, but I didn't listen to outside of me listening to it for the album, and it just meets the bare minimum for me to consider it slightly catchy. And those are only the first 2 songs on the album, so after that, it immediately goes downhill. But we'll start with the praise, and then we're going to start ripping into it, which I'll say this as a shocker. I do not think Trippie Redd's singing on this album was terrible. I don't think it was good, but it's better than I've seen on any other song, really any song that he's been on recently. And I did like it with kind of this acoustic instrumentation in the first song, Lost Boys, which I didn't think was terrible. The only thing I did hate, because it's just a personal dislike of mine, the screaming kind of vocals, where it's got that strain, drawn out, and then just robotic kind of sounding that's used in all of this emo rap, and it just does not work well. It's cringy, it's annoying, it's overdone, it's overblown, it's it's the iceberg of oh, how can we make sad music? That's just the tip of it, and it barely does it, but it does bad. And then other than that, that's about all good I can say for this album, because immediately after singing you get MGK rapping, and I've never understood the appeal of his rapping, his baritone bass bordering kind of voices, just really annoying, and it sounds like he's scrunching his face or struggling to get out his words. Just his bars are not good. Trippie Redd's aren't either. This isn't I'm not here to praise Trippie Redd. Both of those are bad. The production, I don't know what the hell was the production on this album, and how anyone at Interscope Records, or even these two, could be so tone deaf to how boring it sounds, because it just doesn't mix well with the two singing, for the most part. The instruments that they actually use in it are so boring and just repetitively and not interesting at all, giving us this incredibly boring emo rap album. And then just kind of an issue that I don't think we should be surprised at with MGK's previous 2 albums. It's very I guess commercializing depression, all that stuff, it's a gimmick thing of that, which it should never be, even though it's done by him and it's done by so many more people in the music industry, but he's a big figure in this, and he's the topic of the video. So that's obviously, if you didn't think that was going to be on this album, I don't know what you were expecting. It's just not good, and I only would rate this album maybe higher than MGK's last 2 albums, which, just from me listening to both of those, because I did try to compare them, which that was not a fun day of just listening to all MGK for this, but I would have rated his first kind of emo rap emo rock album, pop punk kind of album. Tickets to My Downfall, like a 1.5. I feel like that's generous. And then Mainstream Sellout's just a 1, bordering a 0. That both were terrible, but Mainstream Sellout was god-awful. So I'm feeling like giving this album a 2. And those 2 are for Trippie Redd's singing in the first couple songs. Kind of throughout it isn't terrible, but it's just not good. And then just I liked the acoustic instrumentations, and it was a little bit catchy on those songs. So I would hope, honestly, that Trippie Redd kind of takes some of that stuff and uses it for a solo thing where I don't have to immediately get that ignored by MGK rapping and being like, man, oh yeah, I forgot this is an MGK song. But yeah, no, this was not really that fun to listen to. Kind of gave me a headache. But I powered through because I'm strong. But that's really all I can say for this album. There was even a controversy about some producer was even talking about, like, they realized that they were giving, like, writing credits on it, and then they made a joke about that, and then Trippie Redd took him off the album, and then it became an entire back and forth with, like, contracts that I don't know if they're real or fake. MGK tried clapping in and immediately got hit with the video of him trying to justify liking minors when he was 23 in a very just creepy way. So, big thing. That's probably the only promotion that this EP got, because that's the way I found out about it. But yeah, no, that's that. That's Genre-Sadboy. Another, like, cliche, just kind of, I get just dumb title for that. We'll call it Genre Bad is what we'll call it. But that's about it for me. Bye.